Bienvenidos al Canal del Marketing. Mi nombre es Julio Rondós y estamos encantados de estar con todos vosotros otra vez, luego de un tiempito de no estar aquí en el canal. Hemos retornado con nuestras entrevistas, hablando con amigos, con gente del sector del marketing automation, el email marketing, etc. Y bueno, en esta ocasión tenemos el agrado de tener un invitado que para mí es muy importante. Ha sido un placer que hubiese aceptado nuestra invitación. Se trata de Andrew Bonar, al cual voy a presentar ahora. Y bueno, Andrew es el cofundador de Email Expert. Y bueno, hablaremos con Andrew un poco sobre email marketing, sobre entregabilidad, y nos va a dar noticias sobre futuros eventos que tendremos en la zona de Valencia. Andrew, welcome.
Hola Julio, disculpa, mi castellano es muy mal. But we'll do this in English if that's okay with you. And yeah, I'm sorry. It was getting much better, and then we went into lockdown. And
no, don't worry.
Much less practice then.
My English is also not so good, so it's the same. Don't worry.
Thank you so much for inviting me onto your channel. Looking forward to having a chat.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure for us. Thank you for accepting our invitation. And well, let's say first of all, for all our visitors and our followers, and all the persons that are going to see this video, that Andrew is co-founder of Email Expert. Andrew, can you tell us what Email Expert is exactly and what you are doing right now?
Sure. What we are today is a community of email marketing, deliverability, anti-spam, marketing automation professionals, companies, and organizations. It started 13, 14 years ago, basically as a blog. So the internet was not so good. We couldn't do things like this, which is amazing. But what I could do was interview other people in the space, and that's where Email Expert all started. But we established ourselves as a company more recently. So as a business, they operate a number of conferences and training opportunities, both online and offline, so hybrid events. And we also operate a network of websites, so you're able to view on demand the past content. There's online training, which is delivered by a lot of the professionals that speak for us. And we have a directory of professionals, so agencies, consultants, speakers, and software vendors in the email space. That's emailexpert.com itself. So it's a community that is both online and offline, and we've been running events now in a hybrid fashion since 2020.
Okay, fine. Well, just an anecdote. An anecdotic issue. I met Andrew last December on the event that Email Expert organized at Valencia. Yes, Inbox Expo, correctly. Yeah, yes.
Winter edition.
Yes, winter edition. It was in December at the Las Arenas Hotel at Valencia. It was a very good event. I really was real astonished because the quality of the speakers was very high, and not because I was involved, because I was a low profile one, but there were really big ones and people that knows a lot about email marketing, deliverability. That right now, you know that deliverability is a word that is becoming very common in marketing. Perhaps 1 year or 2 years ago, many people was even not thinking about that. No, what do you think?
Yeah, so that's a strange one. So I got into email, I don't know, maybe 20 years ago, with a company I launched in the UK, PO Box, and we offered free email redirection and a nice email address, your name at pobox.co.uk. And as a result of that growing, we also ran an ESP. As a result of that growing, we started filtering mail and blocking mail, and there was no term that I can recall at that point in time to talk about delivery and deliverability. And I spent a while in this space, both in email, e-commerce. I also had an electronic e-commerce payment gateway, eBanks. And at a certain point, probably when I started blogging under Email Expert, about 13 years ago, I would have been looking to try and find my niche. And because everyone turned around and said, okay, Andrew, you can't just say you do everything. You can't say you do e-commerce and you do email and you do this and you do that, and anything online you can do. You know, the internet's progressed. Yes. And you find your niche. So I went off and I said, okay, deliverability is my niche, because, you know, that's something that I've always worked in, whether it's receiver side blocking mail or sender side helping people inbox better. That's really my niche. It was a term that was being used by a very small number of people. So I remember at that time thinking, okay, deliverability is my niche, and then going back to my network online and saying, you know, deliverability is my niche. And they're like, whoa, what the hell is that? You know, you could just said email. Andrew, you could have just said email is your niche.
Yes, yes.
That's enough. And so, yeah, I hung my hat on deliverability because it's such an important part of the entire marketing mix. And I felt that there were so many people that were so much smarter than me in terms of marketing psychology and marketing processes and strategy. And so I was like, hey, deliverability is something that I can understand. What I've always been good at is I'm not an engineer and I'm not really a marketing person, but I am able to talk to both sets of people and both groups of people, and deliverability is one of those things that is absolutely important, essential to the marketer, but it's rooted a lot and grounded in engineering and engineering terminology and getting things right as far as DNS configuration and a bunch of other things that tends to scare marketers. And maybe I was lucky to start on the internet so early where things were a lot more basic. So sometimes when you get an application and you grow with it, so something, even if it's like Adobe, for example, if you grow with it over 20 years, it's not daunting the first time you look at it. Whereas, you know, if the first time you've ever looked at Adobe is, you know, the latest version of Photoshop, it's like, whoa, where would I even start with this? In the same way, I think, you know, I kind of grew with the internet, and that allowed me to find that niche and understand how deliverability was something that was quite tangible and measurable, and you could show results.
Yes.
And, yeah, so that's where I
and there is also me as a user, later on as a solution maker of email marketing, etc. Many times realized that perhaps 2, 3, or 4 years ago, when you talk about email or email marketing, the idea was to send as much emails as you could send. No, right now, I remember when I was on December on your good event, Inbox Expo, that we were talking about. We all know about DKIM, DMARC, SPIF, but I remind that the last day, one lady began to speak about Bimi, and I thought, one more, you know, one more that we are going to add to the portfolio. Later, sooner or later, Bimi is going to be there, I think, also, no?
Sure. I think Bimi is very attractive to marketers. The technology being expanded, so it's more, it's readily available to more people with name marks now. But the idea of having either your name mark or your brand mark inside the inbox is obviously really super attractive to
Yes.
marketers. So brand recognition is super helpful and probably will likely drive opens and trust. So yeah, I think Vimy is definitely firmly on the cards, and we'll see it being used in more ways than it is currently.
Andrew, tell me something. When we speak about, let's say, we need to explain in easy words to many people what email marketing exactly is right now, nowadays, and what is deliverability. When we speak about deliverability, what exactly it is, so as the people is hearing us or seeing us can understand what are we talking about, because many deliverability or entregabilidad in Spanish is a very long word and difficult to pronounce, and many times there are two things at the same time, and also you don't know what it is. So what I am talking about that, no? So can you explain in easy words so as people can understand?
Sure. So I would say, first of all, there's a huge growth in sales by email, and that's not what we're talking about. We're not talking about email outreach. So that isn't marketing. So, if somebody's reaching out to you for the first time, or one of those people that, sends 20 automated follow-ups, can we please have a meeting on Wednesday about this thing I want to sell you, and we've never spoken before, that's not marketing. Marketing, so it's not all publis para correo electrónico isn't marketing. Marketing is where you're sending messages to people that have given you permission to receive those messages, and that could be as a result of the fact that they've signed up to a newsletter or your mailing list, or it could be the fact that you're Iberdrola and they're a client, and that they opt in as part of the whole process of being signed up, or having a Consum card or a Mercadona loyalty card, and receiving those emails. So those emails that you receive, I would say that is essentially email marketing. So the permission-based messages that are more often than not trying to sell you something, or sell you an idea, or get you to take some kind of action. So that those messages that arrive from companies, that is email marketing essentially. It's not spam. It's not messages that you never signed up for, basically, and it's not the cold outreach side of things. That would be email marketing. I mean, email marketing done right is another question and a much longer answer. Deliverability, for me, it's always okay. So the simple answer to this is deliverability is not delivery. So there's a lot of confusion around delivery versus deliverability. So we can fix that confusion here and now. If you use an ESP, whoever that might be, it could be Campaign Monitor, it could be MailChimp, it could be Spotler, it could be Netcore. Whoever that ESP is that you're using, when you go into the interface after you've sent your newsletter or your campaign, you will see how many messages were delivered. And very easy, especially if it's your second language, to mix up or confuse delivered with deliverability. It's not the same thing. So generally, people are talking about messages reaching the inbox, or one of the in Gmail, one of the primary folders, whether that's primary or promotions or whatever those inbox folders are. That, on the most part, is considered deliverability. For me, I've always said, ever since I was working in Barcelona, maybe 11 years ago at Email Vision, I've always said deliverability is getting your email message seen by the person that you intended it to be seen by, in the way that you intended it to be seen. So for me, deliverability is more than just getting the message delivered to the inbox. It needs to be rendered properly. So you need to have done your testing, whether you're using email on acid or Litmus or one of the other tools to make sure that your email looks proper, whether it's on a mobile or on a desktop. I consider that part of deliverability, the message being accessible. So if someone's using a screen reader or something, for them to be able to read it, all of that is deliverability, for it to look the way you expect it to look. So getting a message delivered is relatively simple, but it might be delivered to the spam folder. So the first step of deliverability is making sure it gets to the inbox. And a lot of people would stop there. I would say, once you're in the inbox, you want that message delivered also in a timely fashion. So, getting to the inbox but 3 days after you press send isn't good deliverability either.
No.
And getting the message delivered to the inbox, but then for it to all be mangled, or for you to be getting security warnings about the images, that's not good deliverability either. So for me, deliverability is that message being seen when you wanted it to be seen, by who you wanted it to be seen by, in the way you expected it to be seen. But that first step is inbox placement.
And I personally think that apart from a very important thing that you have said, in that is after we have permission to send those emails, there is another issue that many times the companies that are wanting to send emails are thinking, we want to get to the inbox. Yes, but there is another clue issue, at least for me. You can correct me if I am wrong, please. That you have your own domain, let's say, or your subdomain or whatever, but you have to take care of it, because it's your treasure, really. If you don't take good care of your domain, your reputation, whatever, it's very difficult to change this status later, no?
Absolutely. Okay, so maybe I can be contentious here. People love people that are contentious. I'm not going to say spam doesn't work, because that would be ridiculous. If spam didn't work, we wouldn't still have a spam problem 20 years later. We wouldn't have a growing spam problem. We wouldn't have a whole industry around fighting spam. However, if that's your modus operandi, you better not have a brand you care about. Whatever it is that you're planning to do, I hope it's a set up shop and burn all evidence 12 months later, because that's the only kind of business that's going to win. It's going to be a short-term win. It's going to be a short-term gain, and I honestly think anyone that's able to invest that time and effort into trying to win by building a business that's going to be out of business in 12 months' time, if it's not completely criminal and therefore you shouldn't be doing it in the first place, then your time will be better invested in building a business that's going to be sustainable and have some kind of longevity. And the problem with spamming is the same as with the bank. So you can be with Sabadell for 5 years. Every year, pay on time. Seguridad Social is being paid every month. The Hacienda is being paid every quarter. You're paying your withdrawal on time. Everything's running fine. But suddenly 1 month, a client hasn't paid you. You're late paying the Hacienda, and there's an embargo on your account. The minute that happens, 3 months before, 5 years of great, a great history, and you've got a great credit line. You've got, they've given you a credit card. You've got, a 5,000 euro limit. They're ready to help you buy a house, but you've messed up just once, and then suddenly the bank's like, hold on a minute, that you've got an embargo on your account. You didn't pay Iberdrola on time. Now we're a bit scared about you. Now it's going to take us 6 months or a year to build up trust again. So you spend years building up this great relationship with your bank. It's the same thing when you're sending email. You build, you're going to spend some time warming your domain. You're going to spend some time establishing a relationship with the mailbox providers. You might be sending to small mailbox providers in Spain or Andorra or France, and you might need to get yourself whitelisted or allow listed or on the welcome list of those services to get inbox. And then you start sending spam. and you're automatically going to be added to a lot of blog lists, and it's going to take you a long time to repair that reputation. So your brand reputation, your domain reputation is going to stick around. So that's why it's hard to get your good reputation, and it's easy to lose it. And I've always likened that to a credit rating with the bank. Hard to get a good credit rating, easy to lose it once you've established it.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you for that comments. I think this is important for many people that thinks that email is just sending and that's all. And this is a serious issue, because nowadays we are receiving a lot of emails daily, and it's very important to take in consideration, first of all, that we need to be allowed to send these emails, and in second place, that once we are allowed, it's important to do it properly, so as the goal of this email is to reach the customer and to looking for something, but you have to do it properly. You cannot do whatever you want. So this is a good policy that many people should follow. Changing of theme. I want to comment you. Well, not to comment you. I want to ask you about the events that Email Expert is organizing. Okay, we know that Email Expert has last week, I think, has finished the last event in London. I think, no, that's correct.
2 weeks ago now.
2 weeks. Yeah. Okay. So what I understand, I don't understand. I'm sure and I know, but I want you to tell us. Can you comment us what are the next events and in which places and when are they going to take place, so as to everybody have the chance to take a look at them, register if it's possible or whatever, so as to be able to follow these events?
Yeah. So even people that attend a lot of the events or even sponsor the events and stuff find it hard to follow everything that's going on. So we have, excuse me, Delivery Summit, which we've just finished. And that's very much focused on either, well, there's 2 editions of that. There's the professional edition, the learner edition, but we have 2 events coming up. One is Inbox Expo in Valencia, the same as what you went to previously. Previously you went in winter, and this time we're having it in summer by popular demand. And the other event that we have is in Xàtiva, which is my hometown, my pueblo, where I've been living for the last 4 years. And that's Sender Symposium. So that's the first time we've ever done this. It's an event for, we've got Monsan up in Xàtiva. We've booked out all of the accommodations, all of the lodges in the forest. It's pretty much inside the Castillo grounds. And we've also booked the function room. So that will be 3 days, July 13, 14, 15 in July, which is that's un infierno in Xàtiva.
Yeah. Super I know. Too hot.
So we're describing it as a retreat because, yeah, we're going to start the day until about 12 o'clock. You'll be inside the air-conditioned room. We'll finish about 5, and then we'll have events in the evening. The morning's free for the attendees and the speakers to catch up on work. So there's a lot of executives, CMOs, heads of CRM, people coming internationally. So, they can't just take 3 days off work. So the opportunity for them to work for the first half of the day is going to be there. We'll have speakers coming in from the UK, from the US, North America, possibly Canada, also from Spain, of course. There'll be mostly brand side speakers or big established international agencies. We have people like Keith Kuzmanoff and David Quist Adiola Sol already confirmed. There's going to be workshops running in the afternoons, the day before, and also on the Saturday after. There's going to be some workshops running in Khatiba. So that's the 13th through the 16th. It's a very small, intimate affair for people in e-commerce, retail, sales, hospitality, hotels. So there's there is some banking and fintech as well. And then Inbox Expo is the 22nd through the 24th, and that's a much bigger event, most likely to be in the same location again, so Las Arenas on the beach. We're looking to have that. The 22nd and the 23rd will be a full expo, so we're expecting about 30 international exhibitors. There should be Spanish speakers on the exhibition stands, obviously, so it's going to be a bilingual event. And then on the 24th, we'll have a full day of international speakers. I can't promise yet, we're still talking to the live translation people about offering live translation of English sessions. But that will be, at the end of August. It will be bigger than last year. So last year we had 120 people over 2 days, and we're hoping for between 300 and 500 over 3 days this August.
Okay.
And now in terms of finding out more about the sites, you can go to emailexpert.org and you can see pictures from previous events. So we publish pictures from the previous events for people to share. And from emailexpert.org, you can find the links to the booking office and you can get onto the waiting list. So there's no tickets for sale for either of those events yet. I should also say that, in the event in Khatiba will be the first event we don't stream live. So you actually have to be in Khatiba or you won't get to see it live at all. Inbox Expo is a hybrid event. So you'll be able to attend that online or in person. The most people we've ever had to an online event, an online Inbox Expo was 1,400. We're hoping to have 3,000 come to this one in August if we can meet our targets, which means even if you're not making it in person, there's an awful lot of networking and stuff that's available to you online. And for the first time, all tickets for online access will be free. So there will be online free access to live streams and to the online expo, which is pretty interactive, as well as a lot of networking stuff.
Okay, so we have 2 events now that are going to be both of them in Spain.
Yeah.
And I am wrong, or you have something planned for Netherlands in the future?
So yeah, we have, so Netherlands has already been announced for next year. So that's Festival of Email. And so that will be a series of events over 5 days. I can't even recall the date.
No,
Somebody's going to
but don't worry, because it's a good excuse for everybody to visit emailexpert.com and see everything there. So
yeah, and there's, we have other events. So there is also, we're planning on having something in 2023 in December in Sydney, Australia. That will be winter sun, because in December in Australia is the height of their summer.
Yes.
So, we have those events. We plan to do something in Canada imminently. That would be a winter event. And we also have on-prem.email, which is a new event that we will probably talk about later this year. And that's for people that want to run their own mail servers or mailbox infrastructure in-house. So that could be because you're Telefonica, or it could be because you're Groupon and you want to run your own infrastructure for whatever reason, or a hospital. There's plenty of applications for that. So we do a series of very specialized smaller events for up to about 60 to 80 people, highly focused, either industry or use case. but it's always around messaging. So not necessarily always email, but always messaging. So it could be SMS or email or SMS and email.
Okay, fine. Okay, Andrew, I think that we had shared a lot of information with everybody. I want to thank you a lot for being with us this afternoon. It was a pleasure for us. I hope we had a second time, and a third one, and a fourth one. And of course, we are going to
now for your visitors, and as a thank you for bringing me on. We'll create a discount code, Julio10, which will apply for any of the paid tickets for both the events that are coming up. So we're not on sale yet, but we will set up a discount code for your network.
Okay, we will share it on, of course, in our web, and we will put it also in the YouTube channel, so as everybody that wants to use the coupon is allowed to register in both events. I highly recommend, because if you know what they are going to talk about, is really good, because I can grant that the content is really relevant and a good content, and you share a good experience with colleagues of other places. In most cases, for example, in December, I met many people of United States that have a lot of information, and I think that they are more advanced, much more advanced than us here in Spain, you know? Do you agree with me? That they are very advanced.
In some way, email doesn't change, but they run, a lot of the time they have much bigger lists, so they've been able to run tests and get statistical significance that maybe we couldn't get here in Spain or even the UK, where we're dealing with much smaller lists and don't have as mature a market, and they've been using email much longer. So yeah, in some ways, yes. But I just think that means there's much more opportunities for the Spanish brands that are here to get it right, learn from those people, and win much bigger. So I see it as an opportunity rather than as a hindrance at this point for Spanish brands and business.
Perfect. Well, Andrew, thank you very much. Dear followers and everybody that's seen this interview, we invite you to the Sender Symposium, and of course in August to the event at Valencia that is going to be great, and we hope to see Andrew again here.
Sí, muchas gracias.
Thank you very much. See you next time. Amigos, muchísimas gracias. Hasta aquí llegamos por el día de hoy. Sin duda la información que nos ha dado Andrew es de mucha relevancia, o sea, insistimos mucho en el tema de la relevancia, porque se dicen muchas cosas por ahí, pero no todo el mundo sabe de lo que está hablando. Os puedo asegurar que la gente que he conocido y que he tenido el gusto de escuchar en diciembre en Valencia tienen un conocimiento total y mucha clase para explicar, y es realmente muy instructivo todo lo que comentan, y yo os recomiendo muchísimo participar de cualquiera de los eventos que está organizando Andrew y Nelly. Así que hasta aquí esta entrevista, les agradezco mucho y nos vemos en próximos episodios de Entregabilidad. Adiós, muchas gracias.